निखिल सर और मैं कम से कम 2 घंटे बैठ करके केवल ये बात कर रहे थे कि क्या हिस्ट्री को रीराइट करना इज इट अ गुड आइडिया। देन वी स्टार्टेड टू कंडक्ट अ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट कि लेट अस सी कि क्या इसको करना चाहिए, व्हाई इट इज नेसेसरी, व्हाई इट शुड नॉट बी परस्यूड, who should have ownership over the custody of history। हिस्ट्री को क्या केवल एकेडेमिया की कस्टडी में होना चाहिए।
There are some historians who write their books in such a way that a reader is not sure fact कौन सी है, opinion कौन सा है, fact कौन सी है, opinion कौन सा है। So whenever you write your answer, whenever you teach in the class, whenever you understand history, when you read book, you should be able to differentiate between fact and opinion, fact and interpretation.
Is that if you get a chance to prank call a historical figure, so whom would you call and what prank would that be?
Prank call a historical figure, हिटलर स्टालिन वगैरह को करना थोड़ा जानलेवा टाइप का हो सकता है, probably not them।
History is a low scoring subject. What would you say about?
See, go by evidence. History is about facts. अगर facts है तो है, facts नहीं है तो नहीं। I'll give you 2 data points in this context. One is that look at a couple of years ago we have rank 1 in history, who scored good in history also. She did not become rank 1 despite history. She became rank 1 because she was assisted by history also. तो एक तो बात ये है कि history can bring you rank 1 as well.
You have to know the past to understand the present. And who else can tell that better other than a history teacher? Hello and welcome all to the UPSC podcast. Today we have with us not only one but 2 great faculties of history who are associated with Level Up IAS. Hello and welcome Vishal Singh sir and Nikhil Sheth sir. Hello sir. Vishal sir and Nikhil sir, they don't need a formal introduction, but still their students and their closed ones have introduced them to me. So sir, Vishal sir के बारे में ऐसा बोला जाता है that he memorizes things very easily and he knows everything. He dictates in the class without even looking at the laptop for once. So sir, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे आपके इस introduction के बारे में?
That is partly accurate, ma'am, but I don't know कि ये कोई बहुत अच्छी quality होती है। I'm not entirely certain about that. Some people might find it attractive. It is one of the tools in the arsenal of any teacher. तो ऐसे कई सारे teachers होंगे और वो जो fluency की बात करते हैं students, probably that comes from a little bit of experience. So I am gifted कि experience मेरा उतना हो गया है that I am able to do.
So you're modest enough to say this, but if we talk about Nikhil sir, I already had a candid conversation with Nikhil sir in one podcast, and now sir, Nikhil sir has completely busted the stereotype of history being boring. He always adds logic to history, and I have also got to know that you bring history at home also. You always link the past events and everything with the present things that are happening around you. चाहे वो cooking हो, चाहे you're talking, you're listening to the music, and आपके बारे में यही पता चला है that history is always around you.
You know, Pooja, this is a perfect definition of pagal professor. So generally, this is how it is because see, what I do, what I breathe, what I see around me, every single time I see history. Everything has got a context, everything has a past, and एक बहुत बड़ा फिलोसोफर था वेस्ट में, he has written about this phenomenon. वो कहता है कि history is nothing but the present unrolled for understanding, and present is nothing but the history rolled up for action. So present and past are always that way connected. So if you are just attuned to that thing around, वो हो जाता है. जैसे कि ये पानी कौन सा है, not go to even mundane example, I'll tell you, in थोड़ा आंसर लंबा हो जाएगा शुरू में ही, लेकिन you know वेदांत फिलोसॉफी, तो वेदांत में you have आत्मन ब्रह्मन एक ही है, अयम आत्मा ब्रह्मन वगैरह, and the things are there all the time. So you know some atoms, something that they get reformed and restructured and they reform it into new bodies all the time. Body dissipates, body comes together. तो उसमें आई ऑलवेज थिंक कि जो मेरा शरीर बना हुआ है, इट मे साउंड वेरी फार फिश्ड, कि it is full of atoms and these atoms were part of some other material things in the past. हो सकता है कि कोई पत्थर का हिस्सा हो, कोई पेड़ का हिस्सा हो, ये किसी पेड़ से आया हो, किसी जानवर से आया हो, हो सकता है कि मेरा नाक अकबर का नाक हो किस जमाने में, क्या पता. तो you, and that also tells you that you are in the present, nothing but entire historical evolution rolled up, and that is the present time. एक बार आपको चश्मा लग जाए वो, तो everything is history around you all the time.
Okay. So, I'm sure introduction and a beginning इतना interesting होने वाला है, तो पूरा conversation is going to be very interesting. Sir, it is very important for me to ask about the UPSC preparation, and before coming specifically to UPSC CSE preparation and history optional, I would like to ask Vishal sir, sir, how teaching for the UPSC CSE exam and how history has added to your personality also. What all has changed since you've been teaching history?
हिस्ट्री पढ़ के ना आप इंसान थोड़ा बहुत शायर तो बन ही जाता है. मेरा ये एक्सपीरियंस है, बिकॉज हिस्ट्री ब्रिंग्स यू फेस टू फेस विद द ग्रेट थिंकर्स ऑफ द पास्ट in a way that no other subject, probably except for philosophy, has the potential to do so, right? And साथ में आपका वर्ल्ड व्यू भी शेप होता है. यू स्टार्ट ऑब्जर्विंग पैटर्न्स इन वेरियस पीरियड्स ऑफ द पास्ट एंड स्टार्ट कंपेयरिंग इट टू द प्रेजेंट, राइट? एंड that probably gives you a deeper insight into your own reality, and ये reflect होता है in how you perceive different developments that take place around you, may it be political developments or even other disciplines, right? तो आपका understanding of economy change हो जाता है. You start thinking about science not only in terms of the effect that it has on a particular field, but what it may mean for the human experience as a whole, right? So इस तरह से आपका perspective change होता है, and I think that you start thinking in terms of a very holistic picture about existence, and one which is very useful for the exam preparation as well.
And Nikhil sir, with you, because you are also in this teaching journey of UPSC now, so आपको क्या लगता है, आपकी पूरी जर्नी में हिस्ट्री ने क्या रोल प्ले किया है?
यहाँ पे I would like to say one thing, that I have been student of history even before I started teaching for a long time. I think in the earlier discussion we had that
yes.
The history was all around me in the childhood and all those things. So that is one thing. But the more you read history, एक feeling होता है कि you are trying to grasp something, and that thing is very elusive. It might sound थोड़ा सा जैसे विशाल सर ने कहा शायराना, but it is not easy to get, and it is very tantalizing thing. You want to read more, you want to understand more, you want to study different facets to be able to understand what is the essence. अब एक चीज और बता दूं, in the context of UPSC why it is interesting is because, as we all know, knowledge of the past or knowledge of anything is holistic. ये ज्ञान नाम की चीज जो है ना, ऐसे कोई सोसाइटी अलग है, साइंस अलग है, फिजिक्स अलग, केमिस्ट्री अलग, ऐसे ये हमने अपने सुविधा के लिए सब्जेक्ट को बांट के रखा है. Outside us, everything is holistic, everything is connected to each other. History is one subject which allows you to unite everything and look at it holistically, as Vishal sir was saying, and usme the more you teach over the years, better interconnections start to appear, and then uska ek addiction lag jata hai. That's what I would say.
Sir, great. Since I got to know that Level Up IAS is now introducing history optional, the course is beginning from, it's not introducing, the history optional was already there, but the course is now beginning from 15th of April. And the timings are, it's 8 a.m. from 8 a.m. onwards. तो 8 बजे सुबह उठना कितना easy है आप लोगों के लिए, या it's a task for you, for any one of you? Is it a task? Because students के लिए तो शायद होता है, because
always a task, especially if you don't get enough rest, जो कि ना सिविल सर्विसेज के कैंडिडेट्स के पास होता है और ना प्रोफेसर्स के पास, लेक्चरर्स के पास होता है. So it is always a task, but then civil services preparation is also a lesson in discipline. तो आई थिंक विद टाइम डिसिप्लिन आ जाता है अब, बिकॉज थोड़ा टाइम हम लोगों को हो गया है वो डिसिप्लिन मेंटेन करते हुए, एंड एंड्योरेंस बढ़ गया है, तो इट इज आई थिंक कंपैरेटिवली ईजियर फॉर अस. जो कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनमें आ जाएगा, आज नहीं आएगा तो 1 महीने में आ जाएगा. सो आई डोंट थिंक कि वो उसकी वजह से इतना रेजिस्टेंस होना चाहिए कि आप सुबह 8 बजे की क्लास ज्वाइन ना करो. I don't think कि वो लॉजिक होना
No,
चाहिए.
I'm sure the students are, they will get used to it because your past students have said कि मॉर्निंग में आके वो क्लास में बैठते भी थे तो अगर हल्का भी स्लीपी फील होता था तो विशाल सर बोलते थे कॉफी मंगा दूं क्या, चाय मंगा दूं क्या, एंड यू यूज्ड टू गेट कॉफी एंड टी फॉर देम आल्सो. So it will be very refreshing, I'm sure, for them. So now, since we are beginning this conversation, we are taking it forward. I want to begin this conversation with a question that we see history में there are changing trends. UPSC trends are changing always. कोई optional, some people say that some एक optional अच्छा कर रहा है, दूसरा optional अच्छा नहीं कर रहा है, and the changing trend और उसका impact क्या रहता है. तो what according to you is the changing trend now? How the trend is changing?
See, history के बारे में I will say one thing very openly and very directly. History, whatever UPSC might want to ask in future, generally what we have seen over the years is around 2/3 questions are repeated. Sometimes 80%, sometimes 60%, sometimes 70%. Around 2/3 questions are generally a repetition of PYQs. And when I say PYQs, I mean at least 30 years of PYQs, not last 10 years. If you have a good hold over those PYQs, then it is a cakewalk to solve 2/3 of the paper. Whatever changing trend is, it is there in the remaining 1/3. और वो भी बहुत ही random नहीं होता है. You see, there are some indications. Sometimes, for example, there is a general direction of movement. UPSC is more interested in regional history. UPSC is more interested in subaltern history. And UPSC wants you to perhaps refer to the original books of many historians. जहाँ पे वो डिबेट्स है. इट इज नॉट इन्वेंटिंग न्यू टॉपिक्स. ये समझो, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए कोई टॉपिक नया हो सकता है, बट फॉर टीचर्स एंड फॉर हिस्टोरियंस दीज आर वेरी ओल्ड. हिस्टोरिकल डिबेट्स आर एज ओल्ड एज हिस्ट्री. तो वो डिबेट्स का डायमेंशंस नहीं आते रहते हैं, डिबेट्स किताबों में होते हैं. सो इवन इफ द ट्रेंड इज चेंजिंग, what you need to do is to be able to aware of some major debates in history which are already present and major trends about going to regional history, going towards the subaltern history. There is one more thing I would like to add. What we have seen over past few years is that history UPSC is somehow also interested in the recently published books. By recent, I mean in last 2-3 years. तो जनरली हर साल में इफ यू फॉलो सम मेजर पब्लिकेशंस तो 50 से 70 किताबें हिस्ट्री रिलेटेड इन इंग्लिश मीडियम, इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज गेट पब्लिश्ड एट नेशनल लेवल. ऑन एंड अराउंड एवरी मंथ कम से कम 3-4 किताबें आती रहती है, हर हफ्ते एक तो आती है और एन एवरेज. सो what you need is a teacher who is able to follow those recent happenings and bring out the essence for you, because as a student of history you can't do all that. आपको जीएस पढ़ना है, आपको हिस्ट्री पढ़ना है, आपको आंसर राइटिंग करना है, आपको रिवीजन करनी है, आपको मार्क्स देने हैं. इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर एनी स्टूडेंट टू फॉलो. एक आध किताब पढ़ ली इंटरेस्ट के लिए, अच्छी बात है, बट आई कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट एनी स्टूडेंट टू रीड 40-50 बुक्स एवरी ईयर ओनली फॉर ऑप्शनल, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द टेक्स्ट एंड नोट्स. तो आपको चाहिए क्या कि अ टीचर और सम सोर्स जो आपको सारा उसमें से जो काम का है बता दे और समराइज करके दे दे. इफ यू आर एबल टू डू दीस 3-4 थिंग्स, then taking care of changing trends is also easily possible.
And Vishal sir, what according to you is the reason?
For me as well, it is important to be able to recognize the emerging patterns, right? It is true that slight changes to the pattern keep on happening, but to an untrained eye, it may not always be possible to recognize those patterns. As such, I think that the greatest benefit that students may get from going to a good teacher is that they would be able to give that pattern or guide them according to the changing pattern, right? Changing trends. And I would concur with Nikhil sir when he says that the UPSC has been focusing upon regional histories. It has been focusing upon subaltern histories, and over the past 4 or 5 years, a clear trend has emerged that the UPSC has been focusing upon especially those historians who have recently attained a certain honor or award, or who have sadly passed away in the recent past, right? So, for example, Ranjit Guha, तो सबाल्टर्न हिस्ट्री का जो फील्ड है इट बिकेम वेरी रेलेवेंट बिकॉज ऑफ हिज पासिंग एंड क्वेश्चंस आर इमर्जिंग फ्रॉम दैट. तो हर साल एक या दो क्वेश्चंस अलग अलग फील्ड्स में इमर्ज हो रहे हैं. तो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर people who do not have knowledge of the academia, who do not have much interaction with the scholastic developments that are taking place. But it would be easier for someone like us to follow.
I would like to add something to it. He's very right. 2 years ago, there was a news of passing away, sadly, of B.D. Chattopadhyay. He was a very important historian for the study of early medieval India. That very year, we see 5 questions, which is unusual. 2 to 3 are usual, but 5 questions came only from early medieval in paper 1. And people were supposed to be aware of B.D. Chattopadhyay. 1 year ago, as Vishal sir rightly said again, with the passing away of Ranjit Guha, you see 3 questions appeared in modern Indian history, जिसको आंसर करने के लिए you need to have some basic awareness of subaltern school. I will also, if we can predict the future, historian का काम यही नहीं होता है, historian का काम future predict करना. But if there is a pattern, recently a few months ago, we have the passing away of Champak Lakshmi. She was also a great historian of the South Indian history, urbanization, trade, everything. And we may guess this year some southern questions would become more prominent regarding those themes.
So it's very important to analyze the trend, and only the teacher can decode it, I believe, because they have been seeing the trend, they've been studying the trend. So they can do that. And of course, you have been doing it, sir. Sir, since you talked about the school of thoughts also, so while teaching, I want to know that how important is it for you to not pass your own judgments while teaching? बिकॉज आप कुछ टॉपिक पढ़ा रहे हैं, कुछ ऐसा है, कोई क्रिटिकल जजमेंट है, कुछ ऐसा है, अपने खुद के बायसनेस दूर करके पढ़ाना कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है?
Ma'am, I would say it is not always the easiest task, but that is what the requirement is, because the loss of objectivity is the death of history, right? History by nature is a narrative subject, and its interpretation is always open to subjectivity, right? And वहाँ पर, since people such as Nikhil sir and even I to a certain degree feel so deeply about the discipline of history, it is not always possible for us to maintain objectivity. To do so requires a certain level of training and also a certain level of awareness, that you should be able to bring yourself back onto the guardrails of objectivity when you feel that you are diverting yourself from it, right? So that I think comes with the experience and also some level of intellectual training. At the same time, the subject of history itself is so rich, and in the limited amount of time that we have with the students, there is so much to discuss. There is not much of an opportunity to deviate from the subject matter at hand, right? तो सब्जेक्टिविटी और आप अपना ओपिनियन तो तब दोगे ना जब आप किसी से एक ओपन कॉन्वर्सेशन में बात कर रहे हो, व्हेन यू हैव द ऑप्शन ऑफ प्रेजेंटिंग योर ओन ओपिनियन. इन द क्लासरूम the opportunity to do that arrives very rarely, and once it does, since we have trained ourselves not to do that, generally we are able to avoid it.
इसमें I would like to add
Yes,
a
sure.
couple of things. देखो, everybody agrees that complete 100% objectivity may be desirable, may not be desirable, but it is not possible. In history writing, it is impossible to be 100% objective. Even the basic fact as selecting some sources as relevant and not selecting some sources irrelevant, that also requires some kind of subjectivity. तो आपका नरेटिव जो बनेगा वो बनेगा सोर्सेस के आधार पे. सोर्सेस का चयन ही जो हुआ है, सिलेक्शन ऑफ द सोर्सेस also has some value going on there. So from the very beginning of topic selection से लेके source selection तक, you are involving your values somewhere in the system. तो एक तो पॉसिबल है. What is required is not the unending pursuit of ideal called objectivity, but the awareness of subjectivity and bias. उसके बारे में आपको खुला होना चाहिए. There are some historians who write their books in such a way where a reader is not sure fact कौन सी है, opinion कौन सा है, fact कौन सी, opinion कौन सा है. So whenever you write your answer, whenever you teach in the class, whenever you understand history, when you read book, you should be able to differentiate between fact and opinion, fact and interpretation. And that is the rigorous mental training that history gives you. कि क्या fact थी और उसको क्या analyze करके interpret किया है. Interpretations may vary. They may show some bias. They may have certain methodical bias, certain personal bias, certain political bias. But facts are facts. एक किसी ने बहुत अच्छा कहा था कि history is like a constellation. नक्षत्र जो होते हैं, which is connected of imaginary lines connecting different stars. तो stars क्या है? Stars are those facts. And the design that emerges by connecting the stars is your narrative, interpretative history. तो आप उन्हीं तारों को किसी अलग तरह जोड़ सकते हो. मैं किसी अलग तरह जोड़. You can see सप्तर्षि, I can see a बंदर. Doesn't matter. Facts are facts, stars are there, they are objective facts. जोड़ने की कला आपकी मेरी अलग अलग हो सकती है. वहां पे सब्जेक्टिविटी आती है. ये एक बात हुई. अब हमें क्लास में जब पढ़ाना है, see, understand this is not an ideal pursuit of history, this is for the exam purpose. तो with the new pattern that has emerged in last 10 years, आंसर में आपको मिलते हैं 150 words, 200 words, 250 words. उसके ऊपर स्कोप है नहीं. So you have to be able to write an answer with judicious mix of facts and interpretation, touching upon all the relevant arguments. तो वहां पे there is no scope. पहले जमाने में था कि 6 पन्ने का आंसर लिखो, 1000 वर्ड्स का मिनी एसेज वगैरह. That is all. That era is gone. Brevity, specificity, and yet attempt to be comprehensive and reaching a conclusion in 250 words, in 300 words. That is the skill that is required. और उस स्कोप में आप ज्यादा स्केल में you don't have much scope to veer from here to there.
Right. Since we are talking specifically about this exam, तो यूपीएससी में सिलेबस का रोल बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, एज वी नो इन द जीएस आल्सो, एंड इफ यू टॉक अबाउट ऑप्शनल्स इन पर्टिकुलर. So what role does syllabus play in history? How should a student study the syllabus?
Well, what we have done is that we have structured our classes and lectures in accordance with the syllabus itself, right? So we make it a point to cover each and every subtopic within the syllabus, because the UPSC may ask a question from any portion of the syllabus that it has mentioned, right? Secondly, the syllabus is supposed to act as a guide for the candidates, and it is very rare for the UPSC to venture beyond the syllabus, right? The syllabus for the UPSC history option itself is quite comprehensive. There are more than 24 different subjects divided into 4 different papers, right? So, and the syllabus goes on to detail each and every aspect of those subjects. Since the UPSC itself has presented us with a framework within which to confine our preparation, I think it is important for students to go through the syllabus, to internalize it, and to find which previous year's questions have been asked from which aspect of the syllabus. How frequently do these different portions or subtopics within the syllabus appear in the previous year's question papers? History preparation does not happen in differentiated stages. It happens simultaneously. So simultaneously you are going to be reading your subject material also. Simultaneously, the same day you will have to attend the classes also, go back home and revise. And at the same time, we encourage students to go and look at the relevant previous year's question papers as well, so that they are able to categorize what kinds of questions are going to be asked from which portion of the syllabus, what is the probability of such questions appearing in the upcoming examination, and they should be able to anticipate how one kind of question which has appeared for a certain period of history may find itself repeating in another section of the syllabus, in another period of history. तो क्वेश्चन से सिमिलर रहेंगे लेकिन अलग अलग टाइम पीरियड्स को टारगेट कर रहे होंगे. right? So I think that syllabus should be something जो सारे स्टूडेंट्स को अपने साथ हमेशा रखना चाहिए, बिकॉज it would help them to orient their preparation in a way that is most suitable for fulfilling the requirements of the examination.
इसमें I'll add one point, taking from where Vishal sir has left. देखो, syllabus of history is very large apparently on surface, because the good thing about history is that they have detailed each and every aspect that would be asked. There are very few hidden topics. तो सिलेबस दिखने में लंबा है, याद पूरा करना थोड़ा सा कठिन काम है, but it is extremely detailed and therefore it is very useful guide. In the scope of that syllabus only most of the questions will be asked, unlike many other optionals जहाँ पे you have to look for hidden topics. That is one. Secondly, syllabus gives you a horizontal scope of the level of preparation you need, and the PYQs, as the sir said just now, gives the depth, कितने अंदर तक जाना है in each of those topics. तो syllabus is for horizontal and PYQ is for the vertical depth. उससे अधिक ज़्यादा नहीं जाना है. Thirdly, if you do the frequency analysis of the previous year questions, you come to know, although syllabus may contain 100 bits of points, but all points are not equally important. We have to prepare everything. We will do everything in the class, but a smart work is that when you know where to focus more, what to revise more, where to improve more. तो हर चैप्टर में कुछ सेक्शंस, हर सेक्शन में कुछ चैप्टर्स are more frequently asked. You can look at the past and tell कि there is some pattern. अगर हड़प्पा पढ़ रहे हो तो उसमें से कौन से थिंग पे सवाल पूछा जाएगा? रेयरली तो कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं, but there are 3-4 things on which questions are generally repeated alternatively. पहले उनको पक्का कर लो. It's kind of a Pareto principle, 80-20 principle होता है कि भाई 80% of the products give you 20% revenue, 20% products give you 80% revenue. Similarly, in history optional also you have some 1/3 of the syllabus from where you get 2/3 of the questions, and 2/3 syllabus from where you get 1/3 questions. तो आपको identify करना और उनको अच्छा prepare करना, and getting a head start over there, improving quality over there is gonna be very helpful. So you have to study syllabus in a very methodic manner.
So since sir has told about the syllabus, and it's very important to study syllabus also, I was coming to PYQs only, but since both of you have mentioned the importance of PYQs so far a lot, so PYQs करना is really important, because as you said that questions repeat भी होते हैं, and there is this repetition. So I will skip this now.
No, I still.
Okay.
एक मेरे प्रोफेसर थे पर्ड्यू में, जॉन स्टार्की, एंड हमारा मशीन डिजाइन का क्लास होता था, एंड आई वाज द टीए, टीचिंग असिस्टेंट इन दैट सेक्शन. तो उन्होंने मुझे एक बार, हम पेपर मिलके सेट कर रहे थे, एंड ही टोल्ड मी कि व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ एग्जाम is to make students aware how to think like a teacher. The moment you crack that code कि टीचर कैसे सोच रहा है क्वेश्चन फ्रेमिंग में, the moment you crack that code, आपके आंसर सही हो जाएंगे. That is, you have to study PYQ every time, not only because you should know what to prepare, but also because you should be able to crack the mind of UPSC. इनकी सोच क्या है? और believe me, the more you read PYQs again and again and again, and it is an endless regression, I know, but it is always illuminating. उसमें नया चीज दिखते रहती है आपको बार-बार.
Okay. So since we talked about PYQs, now note making, how note making is different in history as an optional. Like should they make it chronologically or comprehensive होना चाहिए, chronological होना चाहिए? What all should be there?
ऐसा है कि that again is a question which requires a subjective answer, क्योंकि not all topics are made equal. Somewhere you need analytical, that is conceptual analysis. कुछ topics जो होंगे किसी debate को cover कर रहे होंगे, so you need factual information, that is the facts to address that debate, as well as the actual arguments made by different sections of historians regarding that debate. On the other hand, some subjects cover procedural history, where there may be different interpretations regarding different stages of historical development, but it is quite well established कि इतने stages exist करते हैं, right? तो वहाँ पे आप क्रोनोलॉजिकल सोर्सेस की तरह क्रोनोलॉजिकल स्टडी की तरफ फोकस कर सकते हो. Then you sometimes may also need factual analyses. For example, to study history at all, you should have a fundamental grasp over the sources. And sources में जितने अलग अलग types के sources हैं, किस period में कौन सा source fit होता है, किस तरह का information उसमें मिलता है. So all of that is factual information. So for that you need typological you can say arrangement of your facts. तो कहीं पे थीमेटिक होगा, कहीं पे क्रोनोलॉजिकल होगा, कहीं पे डायलॉग के फॉर्म में होगा आपका नोट्स, और कहीं पे आपका टाइपोलॉजिकल या थीमेटिक अरेंजमेंट होगा नोट्स का. सो वंस अगेन, कोई एक फिक्स तरीका नहीं है नोट्स बनाने का. It is simply a matter of how well you can appreciate the subject, you can understand the demands of the examination, and that would equip you to prepare good notes. And क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पे काफ़ी structured classes होती हैं, तो you don't need to do this on your own. We guide you through this. So that is one way in which we can save your labor so that you can focus on other aspects such as answer writing, attempting PYQs, for example.
Sir, since we are talking about the classes, तो mapping sites, mapping का बहुत important role होता है sites mapping का history में. तो how the class make it easy for student to learn the sites and to map those? Because a question, I've heard that the question comes of mapping sites also.
There is a big myth कि mapping सबसे difficult section होता है. In my opinion, it is the easiest way to score at least 45 out of 50 marks examination में. किसी भी और क्वेश्चन में आपको इतना अच्छा स्कोरिंग का अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलने वाला है, बिकॉज इट इज एंटायरली फैक्चुअल, एंड जो सब्जेक्ट मैटर है वो इतना कंडेंस्ड है, इतना लिमिटेड है, that over the past 30 years the UPSC has been asking questions from the same 450 odd sites, right? उसके बाहर से कोई नया साइट उन्होंने इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया है. So it simply takes a little bit of preparatory work, and once again we are going to ease the labor required by the subjects very soon. Probably by the end of next month or so, we'll be coming out with our own comprehensive compendium of the mapping sites, right? We have what we have done is we have arranged the different themes of mapping. So we have prepared maps on around 25 or 26 themes, and we have identified all of the important sites with their locations. We have also highlighted their unique uh, aspects, and we have also identified their relevance for different points of history, right? So since we have already done this, we have done the plotting also. So I think what is required from the students would be repetitive revision, at least 20 to 30 minutes. Any new candidate of history should be given to preparing the different themes of maps every day. तो हर दिन केवल 30 मिनट्स दोगे तो आपके 20 साइट्स में से कम 17-18 तो ठीक हो सकते हैं, मेरा ये मानना है.
Okay, if I talk about answer writing, which is very, everybody talks about answer writing, be it in GS, be it in optional. So in history, how the answers should be written, sir? Should be, because students say that it should be written in points. Sometimes they get confused that should they be writing in paragraphs or points. So how should they write?
This is a very normal question. Every year, every student in one or the other way asks this question. But I will tell you, it's like an herd mentality. ये सवाल बच्चों के मन में उत्पन्न है इसलिए होता है, बाकी वो बच्चे सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, वरना सवाल का कोई मतलब नहीं है. I personally feel it is one of the unnecessary questions that we grapple with. कौन सा पेन यूज करें, उस तरह क्वेश्चन. I'll tell you why. Firstly, what you need to be is clear, lucid, and analytical in your answer. भले आप पॉइंट्स में हो, पैराग्राफ में हो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. That is one. There is a philosophical understanding to it, थोड़ा सा इस इशू को, कि a good writer would know how to end a point and how to start a new point. But when you write with bullet, तो bullet format में you don't need to show the skill of the artistry of continued writing. तो थोड़ी दिक्कत bullet point में होती है, but that time is long gone. perhaps in the old format UPSC gave you that scope to show how better your skills are in elaborative writing. Now what they need is 250 words. उसमें आप कितने पॉइंट्स में पैराग्राफ करोगे? There is not much scope to differentiate into styles. I'll tell you one more reason why. When you call it a paragraph, what does it mean? It has a start, it has an end, and it makes one single thought unit. एक point. And your skill that you acquire during answer writing tells you how to write a paragraph in minimum words. 30 words, 40 words, 50 words, not more than that. तो एक मुद्दा है, 3-4 सेंटेंस में जनरली हो जाता है. That is as good as a bullet point itself. Paragraphs cannot be long enough. So अगर पैराग्राफ इतना छोटा है, बुलेट पॉइंट की तरह ही दिख रहा है, तो दोनों के बीच में क्या अंतर है? जैसे सगुण निर्गुण कछु नाही भेद, उससे पैराग्राफ बुलेट कछु नाही भेद, ये हो जाता है उसमें. And that is the level we need to improve. Ultimately, even beyond that, some people still would be uncomfortable with paragraph and prefer bullets, and vice versa. It is completely fine as long as the content of the answer is relevant, in word limit, making sense. There are no major grammatical issues, so these differences won't matter much.
Okay, sir, ये तो I think काफी हो गया serious conversation regarding the subject and history optional. Now let's come to one interesting segment, like who knows better about, like how well do you know each other? Because you as faculties, आप लोग रोज मिलते हैं एक दूसरे से institute में.
लेकिन मैम हिस्ट्री के अलावा बात ही क्या?
That's what I want to ask, sir. What conversation you generally have? Like, do you always talk about history, or what is there in your conversation?
For example, while we were waiting for this particular podcast, निखिल सर और मैं कम से कम 2 घंटे बैठ करके केवल ये बात कर रहे थे कि क्या हिस्ट्री को रीराइट करना इज इट अ गुड आइडिया. एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड टू कंडक्ट अ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट कि लेट अस सी कि क्या इसको करना चाहिए, व्हाई इट इज नेसेसरी, व्हाई इट शुड नॉट बी परस्यूड, who should have ownership over the custody of history, कि हिस्ट्री को क्या केवल एकेडेमिया की कस्टडी में होना चाहिए, और should a society also have a say in what constitutes their history, what role should the government be playing. तो ऐसे में अगर ये सब लोग इंटरफियर करने लग जाते हैं जो कि नॉन एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, so there is a danger that history may be distorted. And that raises another question, कि why the urge to rewrite history, right? And thirdly, we try to address how, if a history is to be rewritten, how it should be rewritten, what are the parameters upon which it should be rewritten. तो
We'll have some video on that later on.
I think हमको उसके ऊपर भी एक वीडियो करना चाहिए, पॉडकास्ट करना चाहिए, because I think that would be a very good thought experiment for students to have, because that would give people probably an opportunity to see how they should think about history. That is the purpose of that particular podcast, but that is for later date. लेकिन मैम आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हो, अगर 2 घंटे तक हम लोग केवल ये बैठ के डिस्कस कर रहे थे with different examples, तो हम लोगों का जिंदगी और इंटरेक्शन केवल हिस्ट्री के अराउंड ही रिवॉल्व होता है.
History in the air.
Yes, ma'am.
There is a phrase in Sanskrit called जड़ी स्थली काष्ठी पाषाणी. मतलब जल में, स्थल में, लकड़ी में और पत्थर में you see the same thing. जैसे किसी को नारायण दिखता है, हमें इतिहास दिखता है.
And so while teaching in the class, आप दोनों से अगर मैं पूछूं तो who takes the longer class? Who takes like जो time के बाद भी who doesn't leave the students?
वो तो निखिल सर ही हैं.
दोनों ही करते हैं उसमें तो.
Who begins the class before time?
वो विशाल सर.
वो हाँ, वो मैं कर सकता हूँ, वो मैं मान सकता हूँ कि मैं
बच्चों से पहले आके क्लास शुरू हो जाते हैं.
नहीं, बच्चों के पहले आके नहीं, मतलब मेरा ये आइडिया है कि क्लास बिगिंस व्हेन आई एम देयर, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू वेट फॉर एनीबडी एल्स. तो यूजुअली स्टूडेंट्स में एक्चुअली डिसिप्लिन इनकलकेट करने के लिए दिस इज अ वेरी गुड टैक्टिक, कि उनको ये अगर लगे कि आई एम गोइंग टू मिस आउट ऑन समथिंग इम्पोर्टेंट, समथिंग वैल्यूएबल, देन दे आर गोइंग टू ट्रेन देमसेल्व्स टू बी देयर ऑन टाइम, राइट? एंड आई थिंक पंक्चुअलिटी इज समथिंग जो कि हमारे यंगर जनरेशन्स में उसका अहमियत प्रॉब्ली उतनी अच्छे से इनकलकेट नहीं किया गया है. Many young people have a very लूजी goozy attitude about it, right? And since ये candidates हैं aspirants civil services के, probably they would benefit from being punctual.
Yeah, that's very great. So, and it should be there in everyone, I think, not even in aspirants, not only in aspirants, in everyone. So,
एक और चीज बता देता हूँ.
yeah.
Do you watch theater?
Not.
थिएटर में क्या होता है, स्टेज पे जो एक्टर होता है, he goes into the character, he or she goes into character. उसको रंग देवता प्रसन्न हो. रंग देवता जो है, मतलब रंगमंच की देवता जो होती है, उनका अगर अनुग्रह है तो आप उस भूमिका में वहीं पे रह जाते हो, आपको समय का पता नहीं चलता. You don't know when time has passed. 2.5 घंटे कब खत्म हो गए पता ही नहीं, 3 घंटे भी कभी पता. विशाल सर मैंने कई बार देखा है.
तो आप जस्टिफाई कर रहे हैं कि क्यों सर लॉन्गर क्लासेस लेते हैं, क्योंकि क्लास इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाती है कि उसके बाद वो लगता है कि स्टूडेंट्स को भी नहीं लगता होगा कि इतना टाइम हो गया है और ऐसा.
You go into zone.
I completely agree with this, sir. So there are few myths regarding history in the everywhere. Like if you talk कि मुझे history optional लेना है, तो people would be giving you few lines जो होती हैं जिनके बारे में मैं अभी बात करूंगी.
मैं कस करने की कोशिश करूँ. क्या होते होंगे?
नहीं फिर तो आप पहले ही मुझे पता है, because they are so common everywhere. They'll be talking about these myths only. They are myths actually, but for them they are not myths. They are just giving them like that. So first one is that the history is a low scoring subject in UPSC CSE.
वो अच्छा, I thought history and mythology में फर्क क्या है? What is history and what is mythology? मैं उस तरफ जा रहा था, लेकिन ठीक है, this is a very applicable political angle. चलो यहाँ से.
So we'll begin with you. History is a low scoring subject. What would you say about that?
See, go by evidence. History is about facts. अगर facts है तो है, facts नहीं है तो नहीं. I'll give you 2 data points in this context. One is that look at a couple of years ago we have rank 1 in history, who scored good in history also. She did not become rank 1 despite history. She became rank 1 because she was assisted by history also. तो एक तो बात ये है कि history can bring you rank 1 as well. Secondly, let us not look at only one single case. Look at the average. तो look at the number of UPSC publish करके number वो कि how many people appear for mains with what optional and how many people clear the exam with what optional. We have optional wise success ratios and in that history का 8-9% के आसपास है. So out of every 100 people who appear for mains with history optional, 8-9 people are in the final rank, and which is a decently good above average ratio compared to any other option. So you have the data points. That's a task of historian.
Okay. So Vishal sir, next notion is that the syllabus of history is very vast and it can't be completed in lesser time as compared to the other optional subjects.
मैम हिस्ट्री का सिलेबस केवल देखने में इतना लंबा लगता है, राइट? एज निखिल सर मेंशन्ड अर्लियर, द हिस्ट्री सिलेबस इज एक्सट्रीमली डिटेल्ड. देयर इज वेरी लेस scope for questions appearing beyond the syllabus. So that is not actually a weakness of the subject, that is a strength of the subject. One reason why there is a perception that history syllabus is very vast is because of the multiplicity of sources. कि एक ही सब्जेक्ट को कवर करने के लिए 6-7 किताबें हैं जो अलग अलग टीचर्स सजेस्ट करते हैं कि आपको एंशियंट के लिए कोई बोलता है आर शर्मा पढ़ लेना चाहिए, कोई बोलता है एनसीईआरटी पढ़ लेना चाहिए, कोई बोलता है कि इग्नू पढ़ना चाहिए, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, कोई बोलता है कि उपेंद्र सिंह पढ़ो, राइट? ये तो मैंने कुछ 3-4 ऐसे एग्जाम्पल दे दिए ऑफ द टॉप ऑफ माई हेड. बट what we need to realize it that students do not need to undertake this exercise themselves. Since we are doing it for them, we'll be able to condense it for them, the preparation as well as the effort that is going to be required. तो मेरा ये सजेशन है कि वो जो आइडिया है ना, दैट इज अ मिसपरसेप्शन ऑफ हिस्ट्री बिकॉज ऑफ अ पुअर अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट हिस्ट्री. एक्चुअली जो भी हिस्ट्री का स्टूडेंट होगा ना, वो ये नहीं बोलेगा कि इट इज एन अनयूजुअली लॉन्ग सब्जेक्ट. यस, it is a dense subject. Yes, it is a conceptual subject, but it is not an unusually long syllabus. In fact, जितना टाइम हम लोगों को यहाँ पे हिस्ट्री का सिलेबस करवाने में लगता है, उतना ही यूजुअली जनरली 5 to 10% मार्जिन के साथ बाकी सारे सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए भी लगता है. तो हैड हिस्ट्री बिन अनयूजुअली लॉन्ग, तो दैट मीन्स हम लोगों को कम से कम डबल या ट्रिपल टाइम लगना चाहिए था पढ़ाने के लिए. बट दैट डज नॉट हैपन. इवन इन द कॉलेजेस 3 साल का कोर्स होता है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तो PSIR का भी 3 साल का कोर्स होता है और हिस्ट्री का भी 3 साल का कोर्स होता है. ऐसा तो नहीं होता ना कि हिस्ट्री वालों को 6 साल में डिग्री मिलती है, बाकी सबको 3 में मिल जाती है. तो वही है कि इट इज सिंपली अ मिथ, सिंपली अ मिसपरसेप्शन.
And Nikhil sir, the other next myth is that history is all about memorizing dates, kings, battles, and you need to memorize a lot in history.
इसमें ना पूजा, I will give you two answers. As an Indian, I generally get offended by this question because Indians have mastered the art of memorization. Even Vedic chanting is in UNESCO intangible heritage. रट्टा कैसे मारे, ये हमारी परंपरा के पीक्स रहे, रट्टा मारे. तो एक तो ये तो चलो, इट्स अ फनी आंसर. कम टू द एक्चुअल एप्लीकेबल एंगल. हिस्ट्री यूज्ड टू बी about such facts of dates and years and places and battles. Abhi bhi it has its own relevance. In the mapping section, for example, you have 50 marks, wahan pe ratta chahiye. In your answers, if you're able to throw some relevant facts at different places, it will be very helpful. Names of people, names of historians. So you should have the ability to sprinkle some facts at appropriate places. But that is not what history is. They said facts are facts, they are there. The task of historian is to interpret the facts. तो आपका आंसर भी जो होता है ना, that answer is generally supposed to be analytical in nature. In state PCS, recently we had Jammu Kashmir state PCS exam. Last week only, I was looking at the mains paper. So they have asked history questions which are more or less factual. तो उसमें ज़्यादा scope है नहीं where you can go and elaborate you can bring out your thinking pattern. And that is the pattern more or less with most of the state exams. But in UPSC, things become different because you have been asked such questions where you have to show that you are a thinking person. Your critical angle is supposed to get reflected. उस scope में आपका facts का ज़्यादा role उस तरह नहीं रहेगा जिस तरह आपको लग रहा है. 4 facts हो, based on that you can construct entire answer logically if you have proper conceptual and contextual understanding. तो facts से डरने की कोई ज़रूरत है नहीं. But I still would want to say कि हर सब्जेक्ट की अपनी एक वोकैबुलरी होती है, अपनी एक टर्मिनोलॉजी होती है. एंड इफ यू आर अनइनिशिएटेड इनटू एनी सब्जेक्ट, वो इनिशियल छोटा सा बट बैरियर होता है. वंस यू गो बियॉन्ड दैट बैरियर, इट बिकम्स इजी. वन मोर थिंग जो स्पेसिफिकली हिस्ट्री के लिए एप्लीकेबल है, नॉट फॉर एनी अदर सब्जेक्ट, इज दैट हिस्ट्री इज अ हिस्ट्री ऑफ एंटायर इंडिया एंड द वर्ल्ड. We come from some particular culture. I may be, for example, a Bengali or a Rajasthani or even from Delhi. So I am perhaps exposed to the languages of North India or my region. Marathi, अगर मैं मराठी हूँ, तो I know history of Marathas very well. I know history and the words that occur in Marathi historiography very well. But suddenly, if I am exposed to Tamilian history and Sangam era के words, थोड़ा सा fumble करूँ. And that will happen with everybody. Because everybody comes from one region and everybody has to know other regions के थोड़े terms also. And for all Indians, we have to know some French, some Japanese, some German, not languages, but 2-4 terms. वो आपके आंसर में अगर आप यूज कर पाओगे, तो आपके आंसर्स निखर जाएंगे. So there are two things. Firstly, history being any academic discipline, कुछ terms होंगे, कुछ facts होंगे, कुछ use of memory करना पड़ेगा. And secondly, because you go across cultures and across regions and across time and different languages, तो कुछ एक्स्ट्रा वर्ड्स आ जाते हैं. बट दैट इज नथिंग टू बी बॉदर्ड अबाउट. जब आपको कॉन्टेक्स्ट पता है, ये चीजें अपने आप में याद रह जाती. देखो, एक एग्जांपल हमेशा होता है कि जैसे मोतियों का हार पहनते हैं, एक एक मोती एक एक फैक्ट है, बट जोड़ने वाला धागा जो होता है वो उसका पर्सपेक्टिव होता है. वो सब फैक्ट को साथ में लेके आता है. तो इफ आपके पास धागा है, 2-4 मोती कम पड़ जाए, यू कैन स्टिल वेयर द हार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट आपके पास धागा नहीं है, सारे मोती है, करोगे क्या उसका? कुछ फायदा नहीं. So point is that you should focus on धागा and 2-4 मोती, आपकी फैशन बन जाएगी.
Okay, so the next myth is that you should be from humanities background if you want to choose history as an optional in this examination. So what would you say regarding that?
See, as Nikhil sir said, every discipline has its own vocabulary, and an initial push, an initial hurdle is needed to overcome that. Initial push is needed to overcome that hurdle. But that is not something which should prevent any non-humanities background student from studying history. History is an analytical subject, and I believe that students from a technical background or a non-humanities background may have an advantage over their humanities background compatriots regarding this, because the technical subjects are by definition analytical, right? And history would require the same analysis. The difference would occur in that in the technical background subjects, there is no room or very little room for subjectivity, right? There may not be a very rampant debate about certain topics. But I think that since technical background students have those analytical skills, they will be able to use it to their advantage if they choose history.
And which they anyway should know
Yeah.
For GS as well. तो वो स्किल तो आपको चाहिए
हाँ,
ही
वो
चाहिए.
स्किल तो आपको जीएस के लिए भी चाहिए ही होगा. एंड नॉट ओनली फॉर हिस्ट्री जीएस, फॉर ऑल जीएस सब्जेक्ट्स वो एनालिसिस चाहिए.
And in the same line, there's one more myth is that you should have an excellent answer writing skill if you're writing history, because history is more about stories and the way you produce those stories on paper.
You should have excellent answer writing skill, full stop, to clear the exam. That is the bottom line. उसके बिना होगा नहीं कुछ.
लेकिन वही है ना कि आंसर राइटिंग स्किल क्या है उसको डिफाइन करना है. लोगों को लगता है कि बहुत फ्लावरी लैंग्वेज लिख देना, very fluent language लिख देना, that is good answer writing skill. No, every question has its own demand, and if you are able to fulfill that demand, then your answer is good. If you are able to be comprehensive while being brief and precise, then your answer is good. If you are able to demonstrate through your answer that you think in an organized manner, that you are able to arrange your different segments of your answer in a logical manner, then your answer is good. If your answer is written in very beautiful language but lacks these aspects, then it is a poor answer, right? So वो definition को ठीक से पता होना चाहिए कि good answer का constituents क्या होते हैं. And once students enter the classroom, they suddenly or slowly start realizing that answer writing skill is not something that you are inherently born with. It is something that you have to develop and refine over a long period of time. It is not a talent, it is a skill that has to be honed with the hard work. So इसीलिए क्लास में भी हम लोगों का फोकस होता है टू गिव रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चंस फॉर आंसर्स. एंड क्लास के अंदर हम लोग कभी आंसर डिक्टेट नहीं करवाते हैं. We simply instruct students on how they should think about answering these questions. That is what we do. So that skill needs to be imparted in a methodical manner, and it needs to be internalized by the students in a methodical manner. And वो स्टूडेंट्स जिनको एक भी सब्जेक्ट के टीचर ऐसे मिल जाते हैं ना जो कि आंसर राइटिंग स्किल इम्पार्ट कर देते हैं, they have a very high chance of succeeding in the examination because that is a skill which translates to all subjects.
Yes. Okay, sir. I'm sure whatever has been discussed so far in this conversation will be very valuable for those who are aspiring to give this exam and for others also who are generally watching this podcast. But before we end it, or we are coming to an end, so before that we have a fun segment. So this fun segment would be that I'll be asking both of you few questions which are very funny, historically funny. So I'll begin with one question, which is that if any historical figure would have access to a social media, and so whose Instagram account would you want to see, and how will that be very interesting?
इसमें historical और mythological दोनों चलेगा?
Historical figure, one historical, one mythological. Chalo, let's give me take this out.
All right. So historical figures probably, अगर for example if he's some meme creator or original poster, तो मुझे लगता है that Churchill's wit would have been very funny in this era. और कोई अगर केवल ऐसे ही रॉ कंटेंट इमेजेस वगैरह के लिए है तो बड़ी बड़ी डीवाज हो गई. फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे आजकल हीरो हीरोइन के इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट बड़े फेमस होते हैं,
तो उनमें किन का?
तो ऐसे में लेट मी थिंक कि पुराने जमाने की बड़ी डीवाज कौन हुआ करती थी. सर कैन यू थिंक ऑफ समवन? तूतनखामेन और क्लियोपैट्रा और मैरी एंटोनेट, ये सब लोग. तो मेरा तो ये रहेगा.
Interesting, sir. Sir, about
I would have one simple answer: चारवाक. चारवाक के कमेंट्स
Instagram अकाउंट में क्या होगा चारवाक?
He would put some posts
क्या
with
कोई ऐसा
with some comments on the things around. Sarcastic comments.
Okay, so next question would be, if you time travel back to any historical event, so which event would you like to attend and why? Starting with you, Vishal sir.
I would not like to travel back in time at all. from my understanding of history, probably this is the best and safest period that we are living in. And I have no curiosity beyond what I read in books to travel back in time, risk life and limb, be separated from
So
my
ये
loved
आपने
ones.
ज्यादा सीरियस ले लिया है, बट फिर मैं किसी एक हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट में, फॉर मेरे को अपने इंटरेस्ट के लिए, यस,
Just for the event.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई देखता है कि मुझे इंडिपेंडेंस का इवेंट जब देश आजाद हुआ होगा उस टाइम पे मुझे जाना है, या कोई ऐसा इवेंट जहाँ पर आपको मन करे.
मैं बताऊं
आपका भी टर्न आएगा सर.
पहले बताने दीजिए, तब तक मैं सोचता हूँ.
ओह या श्योर सर.
शिवराज्याभिषेक,
लेकिन सॉरी,
शिवाजी's coronation.
ओह नाइस.
वो तो मतलब मोमेंट बचपन से किताबों में, ऑडियो में लोगों से बात करके वी हैव इमेजिन्ड दैट मोमेंट सो मेनी टाइम्स.
राइट.
दैट इज द मोमेंट आई वुड लाइक टू लिव इफ पॉसिबल.
एंड सर?
I probably not want to witness an event, but experience the life at the Mughal court at the time of Akbar, when he was surrounded by personalities such as Birbal. So I would love to be a fly on the wall, listen to a conversation between the two. I'm also very curious about how they used to address each other. What were the modes of speech? क्योंकि जो फारसी टेक्स्ट हैं उस पीरियड के, उसमें काफी ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज, फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज यूज करी जाती है. बट व्हाट वर देयर मैनरिज्म्स, कैसे एक दूसरे को सल्यूट करते थे, व्हाट वर द डिफरेंट रिचुअल्स दैट वर फॉलोड, वो ऑब्जर्व करना. आई प्रॉब्ली वांट टू लिसन टू द राग दीपक ऑफ तानसेन, जो अनूप ताल में परफॉर्म किया था उन्होंने. तो दीज काइंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स I would like to see.
Nice, very interesting. The other one next is that if you get a chance to prank call a historical figure, so whom would you call and what prank would that be?
कभी असली जिंदगी में नहीं किए तो हिस्ट्री में क्या करेंगे. प्रैंक कॉल अ हिस्टोरिकल फिगर, हिटलर स्टालिन वगैरह को करना थोड़ा जानलेवा टाइप का हो सकता है. प्रॉब्ली नॉट देम. देखिए, हिस्ट्री टीचर ना बाय देयर क्रीड दे आर वेरी सीरियस पीपल, तो प्रैंक तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि हो पाएगा उन लोगों से. प्रॉब्ली ये स्टूडेंट से पूछें तो आपको शायद ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग आंसर मिलेगा.
Okay, so the last situation would be that if any historical figure is given a chance to interview someone, उनका खुद का कोई interview show हो, or the podcast for that matter, तो who would be their first guest in that?
So the historical figure
I'm
is
naming
the
few.
anchor.
I'm naming few historical figures. So as an anchor, so who would be they calling as their first guest?
तो अशोक की जो फिलोसॉफी है, अकबर की, वहाँ पे काफी सारा ओवरलैप है. तो क्या अगर वो दोनों आपसे बात करेंगे, both of them have faced different situations in different era, different technology, different war, everything is different. तो उनके दिल मिलेंगे नहीं मिलेंगे, बड़ा सवाल है.
ठीक है. मदर टेरेसा?
मदर टेरेसा किसको बुलाती सर? हिटलर. हाँ, वो प्रॉब्ली हिटलर को बुलाती, बट उनका हृदय परिवर्तन करने के लिए.
So I think the whole conversation.
अकबर मुझे लगता है मैम कि शेरशाह को बुलाता, बिकॉज शेरशाह को वो एकदम अपने हीरो की तरह मानता था. इनफैक्ट टू द एक्सटेंट कि शेरशाह के बारे में बोला जाता था कि उसके लंबे घुंघराले बाल थे. अकबर के बाल तो कभी बहुत ज्यादा लंबे हो नहीं पाए, लेकिन उसने उगाने की कोशिश करी थी. एंड प्रॉब्ली ही सॉ शेरशाह सूरी, although he was a mortal enemy of his father and had defeated him once, लेकिन फिर भी वो उसके लिए एक हीरो की तरह था. somebody he looked up to कि एग्जाम्पल के तौर पर. एंड इनफैक्ट जहांगीर एंड शाहजहां also, they continued to be influenced by Sher Shah very deeply because of the almost love affair like situation that Akbar had with Sher Shah. उनकी कहानियों से काफी ज्यादा वो influenced रहता था. Probably him.
That's very interesting, and it's it has been such an interesting conversation with Nikhil sir and Vishal sir, and I'm sure classes maybe more interest would develop now among you also, those who are viewing. So the course is beginning from 15th of April, history optional course, and the more details are given in the description. So thank you so much for giving your time, sir. It was wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.